Hello, everybody. I'm Jonathan from Boredom Sated. This is the whole Boredom Sated crew. And we are starting a new video series talking about the most overpowered spells, at least in our opinion, at each given level. Obviously, this is the start one, which means we're going to be beginning with level 1. So each of us are going to go over 3 first-level spells that we believe are overpowered and give the reason why we think they're overpowered. There's multiple reasons they could be. Everyone kind of has differing opinions here. Not a lot of overlap, so it should be fun. I will start with my first one, and my first spell is Absorb Elements. Absorb Elements is a casting time of reaction. I always love reaction casting times. And what it does is you absorb the triggering damage from a incoming energy attack. So what happens is that you get resistance to that energy attack. So let's say, as an example, somebody fireballs you. You get resistance to fire for that attack, which means you're taking half damage. In addition to that, your next attack that hits on your next turn specifically, so if you don't hit and you don't make a melee attack, it goes away. You do a d6 damage of the triggering type's damage. So again, you get fireballed, you do a d6 extra damage with your next melee attack that hits on the following round. The reason why this is overpowered is because, again, you can use it at any level. It's a first level spell that doesn't need to be upgraded. It can be upgraded. If you cast it using a higher level spell slot, you do an additional d6 damage of that element per additional higher level spell. It only works against acid, cold, fire, lightning, and thunder because it has to be an elemental damage, considering it's called Absorb Elements. But it is incredibly powerful, and it's a first level spell that you can keep using forever.
So the first, in my opinion, overpowered spell is the good old magic missile, and the reason I really think magic missile is really good for first level. First of all, it does 3 darts. The damage isn't that powerful, but it hits automatically, and there's no saving throw at 120 feet, which is sometimes very important, and it increases in the number of dice you do on a continuous level, and that no extra dice, you just cast it and do the damage. Sometimes it's the really what you really need, to achieve. And at first level with 3 missiles, you are very likely to do most of the damage of any creature you're engaged in at first level.
My spell for first level is Inflict Wounds, which is a cleric spell. Some paladins and some sorcerers subclasses can also cast it. It is one of the highest damage spells for first level, doing 3d10 necrotic damage with 1d10 per additional level going up. And the only negative, of course, it's a touch spell, but there's no saving throw. So you touched them, you can do your full 3d10 plus any going up in the levels. That's quite a bit of damage, especially at the beginning levels. That could pretty much kill almost any creature at first level. And going up, it's still decent. At 9th level, you're doing quite a bit of damage. That's non-savable. You just have to hit with a touch.
My first spell at first level is Guided Bolt. It is a cleric spell. It has 120-foot range, and it does radiant damage. So it's good against undead.
Any going up in the levels.
Absorb Element wouldn't be able to be helpful against this type of weapon. It fires a bolt, does 46 radiant, and there's no saving throw. You have to make a ranged spell attack. But in addition to that, the next person that hits that creature gets advantage on the attack. So this could be a setup for, say, a rogue, for instance. Your party member's like, "Hey, hit that guy, hit him." Now he doesn't have to worry about any form of, doesn't have to sneak. It's like, "Oh, hey, I got him now." Automatic sneak attack. That's my first level spell.
All of those are very good first level spells. You'll notice with mine that none of them are damaging spells, and that's mostly because I'm trying to go for things that are still usable even at higher level. Whereas Guiding Bolt, actually the one that of the ones we just mentioned that I would still have, because Guiding Bolt is a fantastic setup spell. I completely forgot about it. It is I love that spell. And also with very high damage for first level. 4d6 is fantastic. My second spell is going to be one that anyone who's been watching these videos knows very well, which is going to be, well, not these videos, but if you've seen any of our videos, you know perfectly well that I love this spell, and that's Shield. Shield is a reaction that gives you +5 to your armor class until the beginning of your next turn. If you use this in combination with other abilities that raise your armor class, you can be devastatingly hard to hit. Giving yourself an armor class of level 24, level 20, of 24 or 25 at level 1 is incredibly ridiculous. With certain builds I've talked about, you can get yourself up to an armor class of 30 or even a little bit higher than 30, a little lower than 30, depending on the game, with Shield. Having an AC that high is ridiculous, and Shield is the one spell that you'll say, I'm keeping this as my level 1 spell forever. People multi-class to get Shield. There's one other spell that everyone multi-classes to get, but Shield is my pick for what I would do most often.
Yeah, Shield is definitely a good spell. My next spell, I think, is also a go-to spell is Sleep. So again, it's another spell that doesn't require saving throws, doesn't require a hit roll. You roll 5d8 for number of hit points at first level. You get to add 2d8 for every spell slot above first level that you utilize it. And if you roll more than the hit points of the creatures, they fall asleep, which is huge. And if you get lucky at first level, 5d8, you could put down 3 creatures.
My next spell at first level is Witch Bolt. This can be cast by sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards, with some subclasses of fighter and rogue. It lasts a concentration of 1 minute. You do a 2-hit, and you do 1d12 lightning damage. But then if you keep the concentration, you automatically do another 1d12 lightning damage every round. You can also heighten it with another 1d12 for each level you heighten it with. So that's quite a bit of damage for a first level spell that can be useful, all the way till 20th level.
My next spell is definitely one of the money makers for a warlock class. First level spell is called Hex. By itself, it doesn't seem that impressive. You cause the person to take, it's a 90-foot range, and until the spell ends, they take an additional 1d6 necrotic damage. But there's no saving throw to this. But in addition, you choose one ability score that they have, and that's any statistic rather, and they take disadvantage on the next saving throw against that. So that's that's a setup spell, but that can be used at almost any level. If you really have another spell that's like, oh hey, I really need this guy to fail this saving throw. I'll pick this, and you have disadvantage on it. Boom. There's no saving throw against it. So that's what I picked.
In my opinion, all of the picks for this level are very strong. For that round are very strong picks. We've got one more to go each, as we're doing 3 per person. And the last one that I'm picking, as I said, people multi-class strictly to get this, which is Bless. Bless is massively overpowered. Bless is the one that actually takes a casting time of 1 action here of my spells. Duration is concentration up to 1 minute. You bless up to 3 creatures of your choice within range. The fact that it's at level 1, you can choose 3 creatures is fantastic. Whenever a target makes an attack roll or saving throw, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw. this can save people's lives. It has saved people's lives in many games. Bless is a fantastic spell to be used again at nearly any level. That extra D4 can make such a difference more often than you think, especially when you cast the spell at higher levels. If you use higher level spell slots, you can target an additional creature per person. So a full party can be targeted with a level 3 spell slot, which is fantastic. And even at lower level, you can just choose to not add in the people who don't need to make attack rolls, or the people who are going to be sitting in the back, or in general, probably yourself, because this is generally going to be cast by a cleric, or again, someone who's going to multi-class in or take a feat to be able to get it. Because Bless is ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. Bless is useful at all the way through. My next first level spell that I feel is really overpowered is in Entangle, and this is there is a strength check saving throw allowed, but what it does is anybody within a 20-foot radius of a point that you choose within 90 feet becomes entangled. And if they don't make the strength saving throw, they are restrained. And what restraint means is they have disadvantage on their attack rolls. You have advantage on attacking them. They have disadvantage on their dex saves, and their speed is 0. So it really affects them significantly. Both their they have a negative to try to hit you. You have a positive to try and hit them. They can't really move. So if you're, it's a benefit for the wizard. They can stop somebody in their track and then shoot them, with an advantage across the board. As long as they keep failing their strength check, they will slowly be nickeled and dimed or quickly die from being attacked. So, Entangled, I think, at first level really has a strong effect, and because of its radius, can affect multiple creatures.
And for my third spell, I also picked Bless. And the only thing I have to add, other than that the Cleric and the Paladin can cast it, there's also a Sorcerer subclass Divine Soul that can also cast it. So you may multi-class into any of those to get this spell.
And my final pick is, after a little bit of deliberation, it's Command. Now, Command is requires a saving throw, wisdom save, has a 60-foot range, and it basically, you speak a one-word command. The next turn, if the person or creature, and that's the beautiful part of it, is creature, so it's not limited to just humanoids, but it doesn't affect undead. They have to obey whatever it is. Like some examples include command words would be approach. Basically, they move with their best speed towards you, the most direct way. Drop, which basically means they drop whatever they're holding and they end their turn. That's all they do. Flee, which means they run away. Grovel, which means they fall prone and that's the end of their turn. And halt, they take no movements and they take no actions. This can be incredibly useful if you somehow manage to, if you're pursuing somebody, or if you just want someone to come back and who is either fleeing or about to warn somebody, or any number of things. And this is a spell in the Bard, Cleric, and Paladin list. So you can definitely see how useful it can be in quite a few situations. It can be a combat spell, obviously, but it has some non-combat out-of-combat functionality as well.
So, as you can see, we all had a little bit of a different idea of what we thought was overpowered. My only issue in general with damaging spells for being overpowered at first level is that they don't hold up as you keep going in level, because spells of appropriate level will be, in general, strictly better. Now, there's certain ones that obviously, again, kind of break that rule. Magic Missile is fantastic even at high level just because of how many missiles you're doing. If you've got things nearly dead, you can target multiple creatures. It's really big. Guiding Bolt, again, love the fact that it is a setup spell. And all of the other spells we talked about at first level, because they just require a saving throw, they're still good at higher level, like Entangle. They still have to make a strength saving throw to break it, and the saving throw is still based on your save. So as you're higher level, your save gets better. So it's still a good first level spell, even at 10, 12, 15th level, even things like that. Obviously, certain creatures won't care about it as much, but it's still a very, very good spell. The only thing I do want to mention, just to make sure, because I'm sure it will probably be mentioned in the comments, is that with Witch Bolt, you do have to take your action to do the additional D12 damage every round, and only the initial hit gets the extra D12 damage if you cast it at higher levels. It does have a very high level spell damage. It does the concentration, making it so if you hit once, you can automatically keep hitting over and over and over again, is fantastic, but it doesn't really hold up at higher levels. That's our list. Tell us if you agree, disagree, if there's something you felt that we left off.
And we will see you next time on Boredom Sated. Remember to hit the like, the subscription if you can, and notification button for our future videos. And we will see you next time.